so this is my presentation on Twitch's harassment issue. Ever since Twitch has started, there has been harassment on it, and the current ways to combat that harassment I have found not to be effective, and the users of Twitch have also found it not to be effective. So before we get into anything, I'll give some definitions. So a streamer is like a creator on Twitch. They are like someone who broadcasts their content live. A hard ban, which I'll be getting into later into the presentation, that is a ban that's permanent for the user, a viewer or streamer. A soft ban, which I'll probably just be referring to a ban in the presentation, is something where someone can't access this feature, but it's only for a set amount of time, it's not permanent. And then harassment, a term I'm going to be using quite a bit, is just something where it's just aggression towards someone to get them to do something or just for hate. Alright, so this is a bit of an introduction. So what is Twitch? Twitch is just like social media where people can communicate with each other with the medium of being through a live stream. And fans interact by using this thing right here. This is called Twitch chat, which is kind of like a sidebar where fans can type their messages, and promoted messages in the form of donations can even like appear on the actual like stream where things are happening, so everyone can see it. So is this relevant? Is it popular? Yes. It started in 2012. It kind of became independent in 2013, and it has like 1.2 million concurrent viewers, and so 1.2 million people on average are watching all the time. So yes, beyond a doubt. So why did I choose Twitch? Well, my motivation for this is I watched YouTube, and a lot of YouTubers also use Twitch, and so I heard their complaints on harassment. And so that got me into thinking about, okay, so there's harassment on Twitch, and it's taking a toll on people on these other platforms. Let's see what this is all about. So what does harassment actually look like? Harassment can be through any medium. It can be like whether there's like service that the streamer is streaming, and it shows forms in hate messages, repeatedly spamming messages, or a combination of the two. Right here you just see someone to say kill yourself essentially, which of course isn't good. So this brings me to my research question. Where does Twitch's harassment originate, and how does it spread? So let's look at the perspective of the streamer. Streamers are the backbone of Twitch. Without the streamers, there is no Twitch. They make all the content. And so I looked into two specific studies. So of course these are their aliases. So what do? This person streams game League of Legends. This person streams Rainbow Six Siege. They're both fairly popular in their communities. And so let's get into the ban system. So 3 strikes and you're out. That's the rule. It's for breaking terms of service and can't be abused. Yes, it can be abused very much. I just went onto someone's page randomly, took a screenshot, and I could have reported this person if I wanted to, just by clicking these bubbles and filling out some few information, and that's a ban on someone. It'll get reviewed by Twitch, but a lot of times, even if it's unjust, it'll still go through. So how are streamers affected? Not only does it take a mental toll on these streamers, but also it takes one on their Twitch career itself. It takes Zyronic, the guy with the beard. He was supposed to go and compete in the U.S. Nationals for his game, but because he got banned from a harasser, because he tried to stop the harasser but accidentally gave out the information in the process, he now faces a 30-day ban and can't compete in the Nationals, which is a huge thing for him. And then Quocko, the other streamer, she streamed for 3 years, but because of like an organized attack by harassers, she received 2 of her strikes in the span of a month. So, origins of harassment. I believe that it comes from relations that viewers form with the streamers that are based off of prejudice that they have. So let's look at the perspective of the viewer. The viewer base is, well, what makes up Twitch. It has a yin and yang kind of relationship. And viewers are the fuel behind streamers. Without viewers, streamers are not streaming. So how does it spread? It starts, well, it leads us to my case study, which is, do androids dream of electric sheep? So going for this quote, which basically, to sum it up, is like, owning an electric sheep is seen as kind of frowned upon, and so even if it's like it feels awful to take care of one, because you need to live up to the standard of owning an animal, it's still done. And so these principles kind of translate. So let's say someone doesn't want to harass someone, but you have this group of people, like depicted in the red, who are saying, if you want to be a part of our group, if you want to feel accepted, you got to harass someone. And so that goes on to like an individual, and that kind of spreads. It's like this peer pressure group mentality. And so, but there's also individual motives too. This is someone who used to harass someone online, and they decided to share their experiences with the Guardian. So this is what this person said about the person that they harassed. They would look at their Twitter feed, and they wait for them to respond, and what this whole article kind of translated into is that anonymity makes it so easy to harass someone, because there's not that human connection that you have, and that it's based off of avoiding anger, not getting joy. So the entire relationship is based off of hate, so no one's really actually pleased. It's only just more anger and more just strife. So now this is what I believe why people harass. They form relationships with the groups that surround, that harass these streamers, or they have an individual relationship based off of hate that they need to, that they need to cleanse. So let's look at the counter argument. People who want to keep it, who don't want to change anything and think that the current method is good enough. It's kind of like beating a dead horse. And I want to make it clear that everyone basically agrees that harassment is an issue on Twitch. It's just about the ways of doing that. Okay, so those who believe this statement right here, if you believe it, giving out a hard ban is quick and easy to do. If there are multiple harassers, a whole moderation team can take care of individual harassers. And using the ban system has been used for such a long time that it must work. Well, I believe the statement is false. New accounts can always be made. It's really easy. Just as fast as it takes to ban someone is just as fast you can do to make a new account. I was able to make mine in like less than a minute, so someone can just keep coming and coming and coming back. Harassment isn't limited to Twitch. Let's say through like a game chat, someone can contact someone through there and keep harassing them, and that's hard to take care of. And this is what I believe to be an outdated system. Twitch started in 2012, and if you haven't changed your system and there's still a problem, I think, yeah, it's beating a dead horse to try and fix it. Okay, so this is my solution. So the current methods of dealing with harassment, they're not working. So I believe that, well, you got to focus on the origin of harassment to stop it before it even starts. So I propose that Twitch fully addresses harassment as an issue. When you start, when you go into Twitch, there isn't like a disclaimer saying harassment is a thing, and most streamers are kind of caught by surprise. So I think that it should be just given like advice to them and like not hide away like this dark side of Twitch. Say that you should humanize yourself, because there's a connection that is lost when people have anonymity. So they can like harass easily without effect, and also form a core community that rejects harassment, so that people like will feel accepted to not harass instead of harass. So quick recap of everything. Twitch streamers, they face huge consequences, mental toll, and it also affects their Twitch career. The tools that streamers have, they shouldn't be removed, but it shouldn't be the primary source of like how they deal with harassment, because a hard ban is sometimes necessary, but trying to attack it from the source, I think, is better. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Here are my sources. Mr. Murat.
I do have some questions. What information did you need on this that you weren't able to find or locate, and how did you go about trying to find it?
So something that was really hard for me to find, and I kind of found it, but not in like enough detail that I really wanted, was like the individual perspective of the streamer, because I'm not the streamer, the viewer, because if you have a harasser, it's not gonna be likely that they're gonna just come out and say, this is my experience harassing, look how much of a bad person I was. And in that article by The Guardian that I showed you, the person still remained anonymous. And I wish I could find a more recent one, because that article was from like 2012, so, and it wasn't really related to Twitch, but it was still like online, so it kind of took the principles and concepts from that. So I wish I could get more into that aspect.
Great. And what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
I would say primary and secondary sources are great. What I found is that because they're so professional, and this is like kind of a casual thing, it feels almost a little disconnected. So looking into actual experiences would be better, and don't be afraid to go into like blog pages. A couple times I had to go into Reddit because this is where the actual users of Twitch share their opinions, and so I would say don't be afraid to do like a lesser source. If it might look a little sketchy, it's what's actually happening, and it's kind of the sacrifice you need to make for purity.
Nice. Yeah.
We got that on video.